Welcome everyone back to the Xbox North podcast. We are back here. We've got our whole team back again. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for enjoying our first ever episode with our introductions and our intros and our E3 predictions. Now we are back and we're doing it as an audio podcast. We will come back as a video podcast soon, but just for the time being, just for scheduling wise, we're going to keep it as an audio podcast. Of course, I'm joined with my three good friends for Xbox North. I'm going to start with my boy Dan Robertson. Dan, how are you, dude?
Not too bad, man. Enjoying the new games that are just coming out on Game Pass.
What are you playing right now?
Well, just a little while ago, we were playing a little bit of Super Animal Battle Royale, yeah, and been playing a bit of Wolfenstein some more, trying to get through that campaign. It's a long one.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I haven't had too much time to dive into too much else. I got into Elder Scrolls Online a little bit to try that out and take a look at that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
yeah. Of course we will. Yeah, awesome. I'm also joined by Joshua James. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Ready to talk about some Xbox. Excited.
Oh, awesome. And what are you playing right now? What you thinking?
Well, I finally beat Alien Isolation. Absolutely loved it. A little long, but I did really enjoy my time with that. And currently we're definitely playing some Super Animal Royale, which is a very silly game.
Yeah.
Think Happy Tree Friends with guns, right?
Yeah.
So that's been really enjoyable. And also I've been playing Maneater.
Nice.
Talk about a cool. I never thought I needed a shark PG in my life, but here we are, and I'm loving it.
I took a couple of hours into it, and I was just like, this is just the most prettiest looking shark ever that I don't want anything to do with it. And I don't know how far you are, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's a hidden gem. Hopefully they do some more updates and it will come back more. But I'm glad somebody else is playing Maneater. More people need to play more weirder games. We shouldn't just keep playing Game of the Years. Lastly, I'm joined by my boy Jesse Dean. Jesse, how you doing, my friend?
Very good. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great.
Fantastic, bud.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Jesse, what have you been playing lately?
Well, I beat Ghostbusters, which was really cool because that was a really fun game that I wanted to complete, and I really enjoyed it. It was I don't know, I'm on this Ghostbuster rave right now, and I was watching the Ghostbusters 2 last night, and also some Mass Effect, which I'm streaming during the week, and I just downloaded Hellblade to complete that saga, so I'll probably be focused mainly on Hellblade leading up to E3 because I really want to see what that sequel is going to have to offer.
Yeah, that is probably the when was that game originally revealed? Do you guys remember when that debut trailer came out?
I think it was the Christmas of 2019.
I think so.
Yeah,
was
I think.
Revealed right beside the Xbox Series X, I think, if I remember.
Great trailer.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
That's brilliant. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I beat the first one. It's quite good. So I hope you enjoy it, Jess.
Yeah, so far, so good. I love the atmosphere about it, and it took a little while. It was really surprising because it I thought it was just this atmospheric kind of trotting along, something like The Medium, and then all of a sudden there's full-fledged sword fighting and everything. Then I was like, oh, I'm really on board with this. No.
Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
You have to play it with headphones on. That's
game. I only play with headphones.
I was just about to say this.
I gotta be immersed. Immersion is so important to me.
The sound design in that game is impeccable. It's one of the greatest sound designs I've heard in video games in a while. And from the whispering to just everything about it, it's up to 11. And I cannot believe that game was done by a group of 25 or 30. I think it was like a B team for Ninja Theory, and it's one of their best games they've ever made. And you know what? We need more games like this, and it's a perfect Game Pass game. And obviously, the sequel, we're all in it. I can't wait to see it on E3 as a big reveal with a bigger team and a bigger budget. That's a game that I think Xbox really needs. And we just I mean, it's a big. I think it will be a big win if Xbox can deliver. Well, Ninja Theory can deliver that game, but we'll see how it goes. You know,
it could be our God of War. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, duly needed. We could use some third-person slow-moving games. You know, like Sony. Those Sony games have been like a little too much of those third-person slow-moving walking games, and we're like, okay, maybe we could use one or two of those ones, and maybe Hellblade's it, and maybe Hellblade will be a little bit more because I mean, I think about the story with the themes. Anyway, this podcast is not about Hellblade 2, but I just will tell you how much I love that game, and I think it's a phenomenal
well, it just
game.
shows we're all excited for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to our news for June right now. Obviously, because of E3, we're not getting a lot of Game Pass news. I'm guessing at the start of E3, there's going to be some big prediction that we've already talked about our predictions last podcast, but I think in E3, we're going to get some good Game Pass reveals. I think Microsoft's just holding a little bit to the chest until E3 comes out, because right now, there's not a lot coming in. I think you got For Honor. There's a couple of other games. There's Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. Hopefully, I'm hoping that we get a bigger reveal. But what do you guys think? Did you guys like the last month's kind of a dry Game Pass month? What are you guys thinking that's going to come for June?
Well, yeah, May was a little dry. I did enjoy some of the titles that did come. I am enjoying Maneater. We got Mech Warrior in there. I don't have the list in front of me, but there was some good titles in there, but nothing really heavy hitters like we had in April. But April we had Outriders and MLB day one releases of huge titles. It's hard to kind of follow up that month, but like you were saying, I think Microsoft is holding their cards close to the chest right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're going to get some hidden surprises. There's a couple of rumor mills going on that maybe Psychonauts 2 will be released day one on E3 or something like that. We'll see what happens. Maybe Microsoft Flight Simulator comes out in a secret release or something like that. What's going on with that game? I'm hoping it gets finally released on the Xbox Series X. It just looks like a perfect Game Pass game, but we'll see how it goes. But slow month as always, but. Sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, so pretty much like what I'm seeing here right now is recently added is pretty much Mech Warrior 5, Conan Exiles, Maneater, Knockout City, and Wild at Heart. It is true about being a little dry because the titles that I have been actually playing right now have not been Game Pass titles. One is a full release, and the other one I had purchased. So it is something that they have to probably. I think they're going to address it at E3 because that's Microsoft is really big with the shock and awe, and it's just like what Josh was saying. They're holding it pretty close to the chest because you can bet that. As soon as that conference is done, we're going to see a bunch of titles loaded into Game Pass. That's also exciting.
One of the nicer releases that came with this month was on May 4th, they opened up Spotify Premium. So now you guys can join and follow our podcast on Spotify.
Well,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your local advertising is done by Dan Robertson. Yeah. Well, Dan, moving on.
Only 4 months of ad-free music.
Hey, you gotta love those perks, eh? Hey, we took advantage of one of the perks today. Yeah. Speaking of the perks, this month's perks started off pretty strong with that Royale game, and we're already enjoying that. So.
Super Animal Royale was a lot more fun than I expected it. I never really expected a 2D battle royale, but I'm sure they've probably done. Some others have done it, but
it's a 2D
really
cute.
Into.
Well, it's pretty cute as well. Seeing that like your figures are a bunch of like the most cutest looking animals. Let's move on. We've got some big games coming in from June. We've got a huge expansion for Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online in a while, but Dan, you are a big fan of that game, and I believe Josh and Jesse, let me know if you guys have been playing that game. But Dan, talk about Elder Scrolls Online Blackwood. It's coming out today, as we're recording today. It's pretty quite interesting.
I unfortunately haven't yet gotten a chance to play it today yet, but I was reading into the update that they're coming out with. The expansion's Blackwood, so the one of the biggest things about it is they're introducing a new area. I'm guessing you can probably pick up on what it's called, Blackwood.
Blackwood.
On top of that, one of the biggest features that they've added is a companion system. So now, once you have that expansion pack, then you'll have the choice of either a male or female companion that'll come along with you. You can gear them up with their own gear. You can basically get them to help you out and fight, or stay and follow you around, help you out with some of your missions, and hopefully make it a little easier to play, and have a AI buddy to hang out with you if you don't have good friends online to play with. And,
I like the theme of this expansion.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll jump on too. I like the theme of this expansion. It's all about like the Oblivion Gates.
Exactly.
I was, I'm not a huge fan of Elder Scrolls, but I did play Oblivion, and I always liked when the Oblivion Gates came and you got to run in there. And I was watching the cutscene for the new expansion, and God, the Elder Scrolls Online cutscenes are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
If there's one thing, I don't play the game, but I will always watch one of their cutscenes. They are just so cool, and they seem to have like a reoccurring cast of characters in all their cutscenes too. So you get this weird like companionship through them all. Like if you like start it from like years ago and like to now, some of the characters are the same characters they've been using in these cutscenes, and they're just absolutely phenomenal.
Oh yeah, the follow through characters in the game and everything too. And sorry,
I've been playing ESO for a little while now. I've been following the series. So when it first released on Game Pass, that was a little while ago. That was in the Xbox One days. I downloaded it, and it's pretty good. I think I think the character that I have on one of the servers, level 13, I enjoy it, but it has that WoW feel. It is just absolutely epic, and like in order to really complete that game, you have to spend a significant amount of time in that game world, just because it's a live service type game. And if you are willing to put that time in, then it's definitely rewarding from what my small sample size.
Oh yeah, I got one character up to about level 38. I found it was like I went into it hoping for it to be as much of a like Elder Scrolls game as much as it was a WoW game and everything, and it did actually deliver on a lot of parts for that. So there was a lot of like more action feel to it, like jumping around, and I actually ended up enjoying it more when I ended up joining a group of guys that were just caught like role playing as werewolves. So it was just a pack of dudes running around, and I'd never expected to be into like the role playing aspect of it. I thought it was kind of interesting to actually like get into that, and like it felt a little more like a Skyrim game than an MMO game where you're just battling all sorts of people and like trading with people and everything. Like there was less of a like I felt like it was almost more of a community experience, and it was weird how much I enjoyed just rolling around with a pack of dudes as werewolves and tearing people apart.
It's really nice that they I know the game had a rocky launch when it first came out, and they seem to they do an expansion pack every year. It looks like they do major patches for it, like the one coming out, because I think this is like part 4 of this expansion. And it's just impressive that they didn't push it to the side. It does have a very big community. They're going to, even though they've been purchased by Microsoft and they're on other platforms, they're still going to support this game and grow that community. And it's just nice that they really saw something special in there, even though it was a rocky start. But that seems to be the case for some of these online Bethesda games, right? Fallout 76.
Which has vastly improved.
Well, there you go, right?
That's what I've heard too. I want to try that out that's on Game Pass as well, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was going to download that and try it on Game Pass because I was interested in that when it first came out, but I heard a lot of bad reviews and everything. I heard it wasn't doing well, and then recently they actually came to and started releasing much better patches, and it's apparently an entirely different game now.
They got NPCs, if you can believe it.
I mean, that launch was definitely quite a meme galore, but now it's one of the more vastly improved games. I think it's the same thing with this team in particular. We do have to say on a side note, this team is now working on a new game that might be revealed in E3. So I would say keep an eye on this team, because I believe they've been working on a secret IP for a few years with the brand new engine. I think they've learned a lot from Elder Scrolls Online. I think they're due for something, because I think Elder Scrolls Online came in a bit of a rush, but I believe this team, I think in particular, this is a very interesting buy from Microsoft, because you think of all the studios, we don't think about their other Bethesda studios, not Todd Howard's, but this online ZeniMax studio that has greatly improved. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to play also Elder Scrolls Online. Dan, I hope you can, get me back into it. You can be like somebody to just help me level up faster. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll role play some werewolves, okay, Nish? Yeah, that'd be good.
Yes, please.
I keep on pulling him back to Destiny, so it's my fault.
Just get him back.
With MMOs. I don't get the time to really get super into them. There's
it's
a
hard,
lot
man.
to learn there and a lot to pick up. I even jumping into my old character, I gotta reevaluate where everything was. I gotta I got a whole bunch of points I haven't spent, because I remember I went back I think 2 or 3 years ago and jumped on when it came out for the Xbox just to see the kind of community and everything, and I reset my character and I never finished actually putting him back together. So
awesome. This is going to be great for me, so I can find somebody to play with. Moving on, in the end of June, we're going to have the release of Scarlet Nexus. Now, I recently played the demo. I recorded on a live stream. We're going to post it up on our YouTube as well, and we're going to do a bit of a demo thorough breakdown. But Josh and Jess, you guys have been playing this game, and thank you for letting me telling me to play this game, because guess what? Xbox needs more games like this. I miss these kind of action adventure RPGs that especially made from a Japanese studio. It's been kind of overdue for us. We've definitely been not in that market for a while, and I played this demo and I can't wait for this release. This might be one of those games where if it doesn't come out on Game Pass, I'm gonna buy it. But guys, Josh, let's start with you. What do you think of Scarlet Nexus?
Well, let's just say I've played it about 12 times now, so that probably says quite a bit. I've played 6 runs with the male character, 6 runs with the female character. I like the fact that they are both different in the story for each of them, but they do kind of end off at the same boss. But yeah, no, I've been loving the game. I think you're right. I think this is exactly kind of what we need and some marketing push around it, even though it is a multi-platform game. I have a feeling it is coming to Game Pass. I don't know why. I thought it was revealed at their Game Pass event last summer, but I could be wrong. But I'm hoping they do officially announce that. But yeah, I like the unique mechanics to it, kind of the psychic link you have with your party. The bad guys you fight have different traits to them. So depending on what character you link to could exploit weaknesses to the characters, but we'll definitely get further into that. So I definitely have a lot to say, but enjoying it for sure.
Awesome. Jesse, what about you?
I played it. I just played pretty much the tutorial of it. I did like the fact that you didn't only need to rely on melee attacks during your attack, like so you could use the warp attack by throwing the cars with your melee attack. They were making cool combos, but apart from that, I didn't play much of that game. But it's something that I would try when it actually comes out. I do enjoy trying demos, but I only really dip in them very, very shortly. I don't usually finish them because I like full titles, because I understand that the game is still going through some things and that won't be the final build. I just like playing final builds. It's just a preference of mine. But it seems really cool, and I like that art style. And, you know, it looked like a full-fledged RPG to me, and I'm all for that.
I mean, I do agree. I think there was a period in my life where I really did love demos. I don't know about you gentlemen, but I remembered, you know, subscribing to official Xbox magazine when I was a kid and just loving the 5 to 10
no,
demos.
those are good demos. I'm not talking about old school demos. I'm talking about the modern day demos that we usually get early access stuff. That is not even, you know, that's printed on the disc. So there's a certain level of completion there that has to happen that doesn't happen in some of these early access games.
That's what I kind of liked about the Scarlet. Like, if you got a little further into the demo, I felt that kind of older school demo kind of structure to that, and I definitely appreciate it.
I was surprised at how polished it was. It was a really good art style, and I found it pulled me in a lot more than I'm used to with like JRPGs like that. It's just like a nice art style. It actually like reminds me a lot more of like some of the animes I grew up with, or like just some of the shows even now that are coming out on Netflix and Prime and everything like that. You can really get the art style feel that they're going for, and like really get a nice like look at everything as it's happening. And it was just an interesting different feel to it. It was a lot more actiony than I'm used to with some of the JRPGs and stuff.
And there's going to be an anime too for the game, which seems pretty cool. Reminds me of I don't know if you guys ever played it, but you can definitely watch it on Netflix. God Eater. I didn't play God Eater,
like
but
I watched the PlayStation 2 game. Yep.
Yeah, I watched the anime, and the anime was awesome. So if we can get like a cool game and a really cool anime with it, I'm all in.
Yeah. I mean, just from watching the cinematics, there was a point where I was like, this could be a great anime if I wanted to get into. But anyway, so far, first impressions wise, I think Scarlet Nexus, that looks like an interesting gem. Hopefully releases on Game Pass. If not, maybe I'll cough up the bucks to buy it. But we'll see. We're a bit Game Pass lovers, so we'll see how it goes.
Game Pass spoiled. That's what we are.
Absolutely. Moving on to some fall releases. We've got some couple games that just started to do some reveals. Let's start with Dying Light 2. This game has been in development for a long time. It feels like Dying Light 1 came out. It almost feels like it came out maybe 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe even 6 years ago. But we just recently saw the trailer. The game is coming on a December release. Gentlemen, what do you think about it? Jesse, let me start with you. What do you think about the gameplay overview trailer?
For which game?
Dying Light 2.
I thought it was pretty good. I never played the first game, really. I know it is a parkour game. I never got into it at all. It would probably be something that I would check out, but I don't have much experience with that title.
Josh, I mean, you're the one who showed me that trailer first, and then I said, "Whoa! I can't believe the game is finally coming out." Now it's coming out in December, and I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the trailer. I mean, I really like Dead Island.
It looks phenomenal.
And I did not play Dying Light 1, but I'm kind of in. I just like the parkour elements of it, the melee focused action, the story as well. It looks phenomenal. Josh, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I can't wait. I'm a huge fan of the first game. I was a fan of the original Dead Island into Dying Light. Me and Dan played some Dying Light co-op here and there back in the day. But that game, just the sense of momentum in the first game, the legit fear at nighttime was just like nothing else. So to see just them iterate on top of what they already like created in the first game is just absolutely incredible. And I'm really, really excited for it. The gameplay overview trailer looks great. The parkouring with the zip line up the side of the building, going through different like rooms, the wall running now.
The agility just seems increased. Really like, and it was phenomenal to begin with. Like that was one of the things I loved about the first game was it's so good at pulling you in just with the momentum, the speed, you want more peripherals. Like I can't wait to see like the field of view that might be on the newer consoles and everything once Dying Light 2 releases. And just insane. Just pulls you right in, just running through all of the streets, trying to dodge out zombies. You can really kind of tell in that new trailer that they've tried to amp that up a little more, make you a little more mobile and agile, or like maybe that's just that one tree that you're going into, and then the other sides you can just run in brute force and try and smash your way through everything.
Yeah, the interesting thing is they do things where it will totally change the whole game world. And you know, when you look at statistics for some of these things that will like, oh, we'll flood an area here, or you cannot flood an area, or do this and it changes this. Like there's some things that they'll probably spend so much time in that only 20% of the players will see. But I totally appreciate stuff like that. It seems like they're really diving into making your player choice impact the environment, not just how people act around you.
Yeah, and there have been quite a few games that like attempt that, but it's hard to pull off properly.
I know one that's coming in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
6. The Elder Scrolls series have thrived off of putting little things in their game world that most people would just pass by, and the little like all the little just treasure and just stories that come out of what they put in the game, in the game world. Like Skyrim was just riddled through, like you could just be walking through the forest and then come upon this scene and you have no idea what happened, but there's kind of a story told. There might be a journal left there and all that kind of stuff like that.
There's a massive library of books in that game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I found, and this is one of your favorite games, Jess. I found The Witcher 3 did that really well, coming across like different stories. So I really hope Dead Island, Dying Light definitely explores a lot of that.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued. I was blown away by that trailer, and like I liked it. I never got the chance, and you know what? No perfect chance than to be able to play it at probably 4K 60, and I'm excited about that. Seems like a game with the high FPS.
Oh yeah, and the post-launch support, they even added a whole expansion that went outside the city limits in the first game, and it added like buggies and stuff. So I expect the second one to have some long legs to it for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I just found out that the game came out around 2015, and there's still quite a big player base on that. So it looks like Techland's been putting in the work for this, and they are taking their time, but good for them releasing a game in the fall. I'm sure it'll be a heavy fall year with a lot of great games, but Dying Light 2, Staying Human, that looks fantastic. Moving on, let's talk about a local studio for us, Ubisoft Toronto, releasing the next Far Cry 6. I've watched the reveal trailer. I've also just recently watched a story trailer. I'm in. I've talked about before about how, I find Ubisoft games sometimes they're making the same game over and over again. This game looks a little different. I'm obviously Far Cry games. This is the 6th iteration for it, but it looks like there's a lot more customization. It's a longer game. There's a lot more elements being involved into it. But overall, I've just after watching that gameplay reveal trailer, I'm completely soaked into this game, and I'm hoping it's going to be this great release for Ubisoft. Right, as of now, they're going to be releasing fewer games, so maybe they're focusing more on quality over quantity, and they're going to be releasing more free-to-play titles, which is kind of I'm iffy about this. But if they can release more premium games of this caliber, I'll take it. It's coming in October 7th. Dan, what do you think about that trailer?
I thought it looked amazing. I was really intrigued. I've always followed the Far Cry games from the very first one. I remember it being like very primal and like you getting all these crazy instincts and everything. And
yeah,
I always enjoyed the Far Cry and what's the other game that's so similar to it?
Crisis.
Crisis is very similar, and then
yep.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's just a big open world game, like with lots of
Just Cause.
Yeah,
yes.
Just Cause. That's the one. 100%.
Thank you.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And, we're in tune, guys. That's good, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just an amazing game, and like I know the Far Cry. I've dropped off touching the last couple of games just because I haven't been able to just scrounge up the time to get to them, but I got them on my playlist still, and I'm gonna get there. But I know they're introducing a whole bunch of different mechanics and everything. It looks just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it would be great for if we are getting this Ubisoft Game Pass releases. If we can get some original Far Cry games with an FPS boost, I mean, I would love to revisit these games.
Oh,
yeah. I was a big fan of the original Far Cry, and that game ran smoothly on the original Xbox. I don't know how that game.
I think 4 just got an FPS boost.
Yes, I believe one of them did get an FPS boost, but I don't know if I played 4 at all, so maybe I could give that a shot.
That went into Game Pass ever?
Sorry, one more time?
Did any Far Cry enter Game Pass?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
No, but you know what? After E3, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get those Ubisoft games. I mean, that's kind of like a big topic. Everybody's saying Ubisoft games are going to come out, so on.
Hey, what's a better way to sell the new Far Cry game than to stick a bunch of Far Cry games on a free server on a service like that, right?
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that and Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh,
I've always been wanting to dip my toes in that, but I haven't jumped the gun just yet.
We have the perfect gentleman to talk all about it.
That'll be huge if they put that on Game Pass, because that game is still very popular right now.
Well, Far Cry 6 does have the marketing, like Xbox is doing the marketing for Far Cry 6. So, man, how huge would it be if Far Cry 6 was on Game Pass day one?
That would be amazing, especially for like an E3 announcement or something. That would be huge.
Oh yeah, there are rumblings of potential more games coming for the fall, because we just know that the fact there's always game delays, especially for fall delays. Now, Far Cry 6 looks like it's been delayed way too much, but they probably are committing to this October release. So you never know.
I don't think they want the same blunders they had with what was that Ghost Recon Breakpoint, was it?
Yep.
That really threw a wrench in thing. But the biggest takeaway from this Far Cry 6 trailer, and we all know what it was. It was the wiener dog, man. That wiener dog at the end of the trailer. That's Absolutely. What I'm talking about.
Dumb, cute, adorable dog. And I just hope they don't kill that dog. If they do, I don't think I will ever play this game.
Monsters.
When I was reading, you get the alligator in the T-shirt too.
Oh, that alligator looks pretty adorable.
I like the backpacks that they had. It reminded me of kind of like a makeshift way to kind of add powers into a game. It looked like you could shoot like a rocket into the ground and like put a big AoE effect on the floor, or they were showing you shooting airstrike out of your knapsack onto another car, and I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah. That'll be pretty sick features. I'd be interested to see if they ever come out with the World Builder again, kind of when they released it. I remember around the time Halo Forge was like becoming really popular and people were starting to use that a lot. They released one for, what was it, 2 and 3 maybe, or 2 and...
No, the original Far Cry had
1 and 2,
had
right?
Map Builder. The original Far Cry
had them.
Yeah, the original Far Cry 1 on the Xbox original had a map editor. Which was completely crazy at that time. Imagine, on that original system, you were able to build your own little maps, and I had a lot of fun on that. I mean, being a kid, just making my own multiplayer app. It was just a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see a battle royale mode in that game.
Yes. Yes. I feel like Ubisoft will definitely want to take advantage of some free-to-play idea, and probably this is the best one. The other thing that I did wanted to talk about was I just loved the little cool, like, create your own weapons that you had. There was this really cool, like, Ripper CD player thing that you had going on where it was just playing this backtrack of the song, and I just thought it was just the most amazing thing ever. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some really cool bits that we haven't been fully revealed on, but overall,
Remind me of what was that zombie game with Frank West? Why can I not name it?
Dead Rising?
Yeah, it reminded me of the Dead Rising, like build your own guns, where you had like the record player. I think there was like a record player kind of gun like that, but I was playing the Macarena song. It's hilarious.
That's
right where it left off. That was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a great game. All right, over to some old tech news. It's not too old. It came out just about a week ago, but I really want to talk about this because, Josh, you brought this attention to me, and I saw some of the footage of this, but we just started seeing the latest Unreal Engine 5 footage, and already I'm completely blown away of how it looks, especially for all these new upcoming games. But I just think the evolution of Unreal has just been going to this crazy state where from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4, and what we're going to get for Unreal Engine 5 with these new consoles and our PCs, I can't begin to think about what a AAA game is going to look like, or even just a small tier game to go on. Josh, the footage that we've seen, everything that's going on with Unreal Engine 5, what do you think? What's going on?
Well, what's going on? All right. Well, it seems like quite a bit, down to their day-night technology, to Lumen engine, their lighting engine, to just giving developers the freedom to really get their ideas out with the power they have in front of them, and using, like, it seems like fraction of the CPU and GPU power to stream in assets. They were saying like they could do 4K textures at the cost of 1080p. So just super impressive stuff. And, obviously there's nothing really on the market taking advantage of what we saw in that tech demo itself. But seeing the tech demo just makes you excited, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Just amazing. It looks easy enough that like I could really get into using it, even if I really put a bit of time into it. Just like I think that was where a lot of the like artistry like complements that like the design and everything. Like if you're a designer, you want to be able to create something very easily and start like just putting something together as quickly as possible, and just throwing everything one after the other to like whatever you're picturing in your head. And it looks like this makes it a lot more available that way, and in such a high detail. It's just ridiculous. Like there's no waiting on textures to just pop in and like have an asset actually properly load and everything. You just grab it and drop it in, and it's there. And it's super high resolution. It just looks amazing. I couldn't believe what it looked like.
Speaking of like just grabbing an asset and popping it in there, I don't have the name in front of me if you want to look in the note, but they have this new file browsing system, and it was a company that Epic did purchase.
Is it Quixel? No.
Quixel, yeah, Quixel. Yeah.
Quixel Bridge.
And so they purchased Quixel, and they must have known from the beginning that they were going to implement it into the actual interface of Unreal 5. But the fact that Quixel is, from what I've heard from even what the Corridor crew people have talked about, or just artists in general, they seem to use this program quite a bit. And the fact that it's integrated into Unreal, and they have this just huge library of assets just to grab from, and people can contribute to that library, it just makes the amount of assets they can pull from just amazing. So when you need all these different kind of trees, well, they're there already. So it's going to be making high quality game development just so much more streamlined. Like Jess, like imagine the stuff you'll be seeing in the future. What gets you excited about that?
Hellblade 2. I'm just kidding. We've already talked.
I'm really excited about the different technologies coming out, like the super resolution, and then not only that, just super sampling in general. Not both of those type of things combined, what the Unreal Engine is doing, and just the technology, the fact that they can use they use a fraction of the cost that it would normally take up on memory, that they can use to build more smarter AI systems. So I'm really excited for smarter AI systems, difficulties that aren't turning enemies into bullet sponges, but making them smarter than I am. And that is going to be exciting. And I believe that's a lot of games are going to be implementing those type of AI systems because they're just going to have the resources and the tools to build those games. You know what I mean? That's going to be the challenge. So graphically, they're going to be able to use these tools very easily. The challenge is now going to be, okay, so how can we develop AI systems a lot better and make it more engaging and make it so it isn't like streamlined? Like, yeah, there's a lot of choice in RPGs, but they still follow some form of code. What if the AI is thinking for itself? So you really will have a completely different story that maybe to the point it's not even the same dialogue.
Yeah, or like considering, that the engine itself does all the heavy lifting for the graphics. If they have so much more CPU and GPU power to focus on AI, I didn't even think about that. Just like that's exciting right there. If you can have dynamic AI, even if they can even try to do like dynamic conversations and answers, that could be very interesting. Seeing more flanking of enemies, going into a scenario and it's just not being the same every time, because after you die a bunch of times, you kind of get like it's a script in front of you, almost turns it into kind of like a roguelike, where if the AI is just learning from you, that'd be very interesting. No, I think you got a good point there.
We saw a little bit of it. This isn't off topic. There is a little bit of it, like in terms of, I think it's no, that's a little bit different, because I was gonna say Forza Horizon, but that's actually capturing the player.
The drivatars.
Yeah, the drivatars. It is a little bit different, I'm thinking.
But imagine, taking that to the next level, even in that engine.
Oh, exactly.
Like take that data and your dynamic play style and feed it into something, because the engine is already mastered all the heavy lifting on the back end.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It really frees up development time for all the other assets and things that you want in the game, like the AI, the lighting and visual effects and everything are all taken care of, so you can spend a lot more time on story, creativity, and all sorts of things. It's going to be amazing to see what they can actually develop with it and how it's going to change.
Yeah, they're even showing like her running and jumping over objects, and the animation system, even though you put in a basic animation, the engine itself could stretch things a little further. So they showed this example of the giant or the ancient at the end shooting a laser, and then they showed it got like following her based off gameplay, and they're showing that animation, and they're able to stretch its arm further out without without doing anything. They didn't have to program any of that stuff in. The engine itself kind of just did that for them. And that's huge. The fact that we could put like a half step wall and then a full wall, but the engine is smart enough to animate the character properly going over that. Takes animation even to a further step. So you could probably have tons of different programs for interacting with different objects. That was one thing, like Sony games I found got really right, like Uncharted, like when he touched his hands on the wall, or like in Tomb Raider games, interaction with objects just makes the character feel that much more there. And if that engine can bring that to even a wider scale, would be very cool.
Absolutely. I was understanding there's a few limitations on it and everything as well. So, I mean, it's not designed to work super well with VR or some of the other intensive programs like that, where you got to run multiple screens, 2 different lighting angles and viewing angles and everything. It can struggle a little bit there, but I mean, there's always room for improvement. And as they're going along, I'm sure they'll correct those problems and find ways to just utilize all the engine space they've got better.
It's in beta right now, so it can only get better from here.
Currently in early access. You know, I just have to think about even the more AA and small team developers being able to fully take advantage of like an engine of this caliber and what it can do for. I just think it's going to be, the evolution of Unreal Engine just keeps going on. And, as just a viewer of looking at it from the original days to even, when we got it on the original Xbox, when we saw it on Splinter Cell, how Splinter Cell was running on, how Chaos Theory with the way waves and just like weather effects. And then there's just the small subliminal changes in what we're seeing on Unreal Engine 5.
And it just, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Go ahead.
Continue. It just seems like way more. sorry, we're all sorry. It just seems more collaborative too. Like if systems like that, like weather system, or I imagine there's weather systems in the engine already, but it seems like things can be shared a lot more easily, across the board for everyone, and just make it a more streamlined experience. Because you can say that's one of the biggest advantage Sony and Microsoft now have, is the teams collaborating on engines, right? Just speeds things up. So if they can get the community behind that, like in integrating that whole like asset stuff in there, that's just going to make things so much easier, and we're going to just get games faster. And especially in this day and age of pandemic, working from home, stuff like that is so key. And you know what? Can we finally thank Epic for showing the game running on an Xbox Series X at the beginning of the trailer, so that everyone can be like, "Oh, it can actually run on there," and not just the PlayStation 5. Like, come on, people, it's Unreal 5. It was going to run on everything.
Really.
Yeah, I really like the point Andrew was making. Even
they couldn't show it. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I like the point Andrew was making there, just about the indie developers and everything. It's going to be releasing like more games. It'll be easier for them to create. It'll be easier for them to like make like better productions with smaller teams and like really have their dreams actualized. So I think a great thing for the Xbox, PlayStation, every community really.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There was this really funny forum rumor that was going on that the Xbox Series S won't be able to handle this, and I'm just like, PlayStation fanboys.
I mean, like, if anything, the things they showed off prove that they're like, oh, we can stream in 4K quality textures at the cost is 1080p. I'm like,
thank you.
They're talking about the Series S right there, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's actually a 1440p machine, so let's just you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sure if it's doing 1440p, it's going to be able to run most systems quite well.
Well, at least it can do 1440p.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to our last discussion of the day. And this one's a big one because it's definitely directed to our rival at PlayStation. Recently, there's been an article published, but also Randy Pitchford from Gearbox also revealed on Twitter that Take-Two Entertainment will be removing Borderlands 3 crossplay for just PlayStation. So how do we feel about this? Is Sony holding back the industry back because there's this crossplay fee? Some of you don't know, the fact that if there's crossplay is enabled, PlayStation takes a fee for this. And not every company is just like Fortnite, but you think about all the other games that rely on crossplay. It can really further help, the community of this stuff. PlayStation, the ones who took a little longer for crossplay to be enabled. There's been articles reveal that they are, they want to be paying for a fee for this. And some companies are just getting a little fed up, and I think you see Take-Two removing for this. So let's open this chat for everybody, because I want to talk about this. I'm pissed off about it, because this is just, it's kind of annoying at me, because I'm thinking about
Andrew.
Well, I'm just going to say this right now. This does not need to happen, because you think about all the smaller indie games. You think about even some of the games maybe that are just released for 2 platforms, and maybe they have a pretty nice little base coming up, and maybe there's some incoming content coming up. Well, with crossplay enabled, you get all these people having all the fun that they can, all the access to all this little content they have. Right now, with Sony doing this, it just fucking pisses me off. It's the first swear for the podcast, guys, or I think we swore at the last podcast. I don't care. I'm annoyed by this, because this just gets me so annoyed. I can't believe that they're so damn tone deaf for this. They can't understand the fact that this is actually ruining games for everywhere. This is not just maybe it benefits Sony by getting people to play more games, but you know what? You're just leaving so many people out. I'm getting tired about this. I'm gonna leave it to you, because I'm done with.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The fact that what's so funny to me is a company that is so competitive seems that's the last thing that they want to do when it actually comes to having these multi-platform games. Just I always liked the prospect right from the get-go with brute force, the fact that you could play with PC. I that was amazing concept, that I could play with PC and other games that allow you to play with PlayStation. And it's just really cool, because it's all the platforms, playing competitive games or co-op games together on different platforms. It's very, very gamer friendly. And the fact that this stuff is still going on in 2021 from Sony is shocking and very disappointing, because it's not a forward next generation move. It is the same old Sony cog. They want people to play single player games, and they don't allow, or they don't want whatever third party games to have that access. And if you do have that access, they're going to charge you money. It's anti-gamer, and it is disappointing. It's very disappointing, and it shouldn't be a part of this gaming verse, so to say.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me about this is doing it after the fact. Like you're breaking communities up at this point.
Thank you.
There's friends that play with each other, cross play, that are on different consoles, and they're not going to be able to do that soon. Exactly. Like that's a bummer for them. Not everyone has $600 to go out and buy a PlayStation if they can happen to find one, and it just, a move like that just makes the Xbox and PC community that much more appealing to an average consumer, in my opinion, because if they're willing to do something like this, mind you, I know it's Take-Two. We don't know the kind of background dealings of it. And I understand Sony wants to protect their business. I don't want to come off as a Sony basher. I do like a lot of the properties they make, but to do this after the fact just sets this weird kind of precedent. And after the whole Epic versus Apple, all this stuff coming out and finding out that they do charge Fortnite a pretty significant fee to have crossplay, And a lot of people were suspecting that this is something that, other companies have to deal with as well. And them removing crossplay on Borderlands 3 just shows to everyone, yes, if you want to have crossplay on Sony, you're going to have to pay it up. And
it's tough. It's just,
yeah, it just doesn't seem.
And I hope they decide to, backtrack on
You dropped out.
and not break these communities apart. But
I'm here. Yeah.
You dropped out.
Josh?
Hello?
yeah, no, sorry about that. Hopefully they won't. Hopefully they'll decide to backtrack on this and not go forward with it. Sorry if I cut out there for a little while.
No.
Well, I think maybe maybe it also has to do with the game developer. Maybe they're not so inclined to want to pay Sony to make it, especially when guess what, Xbox and PC are playing together right now, and there it is. I mean, there's a lot of PC. I mean, come on, Borderlands 3 is very, very popular on PC.
Mm-hmm.
They're making tons of dough off of it. It's just unfortunate that it's just
That's just it. I think it hurts the developer, and I think it's always going to come back to that, and it's going to be the developers at some point got to take a stand. It's like if we just stop doing this and just stop having crossplay for them, then I mean, like Josh was saying as well, it's like it just goes back to it starts to make the Xbox and the PlayStation, and the PC look a lot more appealing.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be pushing people away like that, like you have an opportunity to grow your community and just include more people. But by separating it, like I understand the business move there. I understand where you can make the money and everything. But at some point it's going to crumble because you can't just separate so many people and then keep segregating yourself until you've just got nothing left to really stand on anymore. I mean, if you're including people, then it starts to become a bigger community. It starts to become like a more competitive place, a more like just enjoyable, more creative place. Like it just seems like it hurts everybody around, really, and PlayStation's going to realize it one day.
What if Call of Duty all of a sudden says, hey, I don't think we want to be paying these fees anymore. What's the point? We're making billions of dollars. We don't need to pay these fees anymore, Sony. So either drop these fees or we're just going to not be, you know what I mean? It's actually going to get to that point because these developers, right, they're going to see that there are other competing platforms that aren't doing the same, that are allowing that cross-platform that is actually making them money. Do you know what I mean? That's actually making the developer money. And the fact that Sony is trying to prevent that, it's going to open the eyes of other developers paying those fees. And if they're,
Yeah.
And I find like people are not so hush hush about these things anymore.
No.
Like there's a backlash that happens from this. And I just feel like this is going to set a weird precedent for after the fact. It just doesn't sit right with me that it's happening. Like, how long has the game been out now? It's almost been 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah. So like 2 years into that, and these established communities that are cross-playing between your platform, I would imagine the numbers for engagement after this gets implemented will drop on PlayStation.
Yep.
And that's not good. Like, in the end, I'm curious if they will see, in the end, this could be, well, it is obviously a Take-Two decision to stop paying for the crossplay and remove the functionality. But Sony, I hope you're looking at these numbers and realizing that after this turns off, that maybe you should rethink about charging your developers a fee for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with cloud play even becoming more prevalent, like it's going to be up to that even. It's like if you're not going to include the crossplay and everything.
What a good point.
Yeah, like Xbox has its own cloud service that's working, like their Stadia cloud service. If you're going to restrict those people too to bring in that massive market of people who can't quite either get consoles or don't have the like stationary equipment to stay with, like people on the road or traveling or whatever, like there's going to be a huge community of people that you're excluding from your services just because you don't want to have crossplay. Keep things just to yourself.
Yeah, and remember when they used to have free multiplayer? Like they were about crossplay like back in the day.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason Final Fantasy 14 didn't even go on Xbox, because of their whole like anti-update. You had to like go through this. You had to pay for like cert again, pretty much, to get an update out on Xbox, and then they removed that. And obviously things have been getting a lot better since Phil's been there, and the company has been really backing the division of Xbox now. It really feels like we're actually firing on all cylinders, which is really, really nice. But you can even look at the latest financial presentation Jim Ryan did for Sony, and the tea leaves are there. Like they are going to be copying Xbox, and if they think charging for crossplay is not going to hurt them, wait till they start getting further into the PC market and selling games, where on Xbox, if I buy Gears of War 5, I own it on PC. If I buy Forza, I own it on PC. And I doubt they're going to be doing something like that. So it's all growing pains, right? But they'll find out. PC's a different world, man.
Eventually, when one competitor realizes they're not being very consumer friendly, and I think this is where the case for Sony, I think they've started to, their cracks on the road are starting to appear. It's getting evident, especially with the PlayStation 5 launch. And you know what? This is the start that they've put the road on, and maybe they'll learn from it. Obviously, this is a great company that's been having a lot of success. I mean, they're beating us on the race, obviously, and we've been playing catch up. But this is not a good start for Sony. But yeah, let's. And anybody else wanted to add anything about this, or?
Well, I hope stuff like this doesn't overshadow what they're good at, and that's their games. And their games look amazing. Like Ratchet and Clank looks awesome. Horizon looks amazing. Right. And you know what? I'm sorry that the fanboys out there are not attracted to Aloy this time around, but get over that. I can actually commend Sony for actually making realistic looking women in their games, like in Returnal and the new Horizon game. Like it looks incredible, and the fact that game's going to run on the PS4 as well is even more impressive.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
I would love to see some PS4 footage. I mean, I don't know if we saw it in the PS5, but I'm also hearing that maybe the next God of War might also be a PS4 game as well. I think we're not sure yet.
They keep on showing their games at 30 frames is not a good look in my opinion, but
yeah. I think I mean we'll see. I mean, the thing is, Sony does not always disappoint. We'll see what's going to happen even for E3. I know they're not coming for E3. They're probably going to have some sort of digital presentation, or they'll reveal something. Just Sony's always providing something.
But they're disappointing right now on the crossplay. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's all the time that we have, folks. Thank you guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, this was a good one. This was a great one. Yeah. I know we ended on a take-two sour note, but you know what? This is an Xbox podcast. We've got some great things coming up. We definitely have
competition.
Hey, crossplay affects Xbox too, right?
Exactly. We'll see how it goes. Well, maybe Sony will listen to this podcast in particular, this random podcast, and go, "Hey, these four men are saying, the right things. Maybe we should listen to them." We'll see. We'll hope so. Yeah, absolutely. Well, our next podcast will reveal some more stuff. I believe Battlefield is going to be getting a big reveal soon. I'm told.
Yeah, hopefully we can talk about that.
That and
June 9th. I think they officially, June 9th is the official date of the reveal.
Fantastic. Maybe we'll record it during June 9th as well. And I believe there's probably going to be a bunch of E3 pre-trailers. Also, if you are watching us on our YouTube channel, we will be doing a live broadcast of our reactions of E3 for Xbox and Bethesda. That I'm excited about. It's going to be Christmas all over again for all of us.
Oh yeah. I got to get my face on that one so you can see the huge smile or the massive disappointment across it.
we'll get our makeup department to make it look like we're all looking happy as well.
I'll force the smile on.
We definitely hyped ourselves with so many of our reveals. Yeah. Well, my name is Andrew Ravindran, and I'm with Jesse Dean, Joshua James, and Dan Robertson, and you're watching the Xbox North podcast. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.